my god. How do I have double the damage of the DPS? What the fuck? I got trapped behind, but I mean, I did what I could. I held him back a while. Fucking Christ, these fucking bads. Ooh. Nine and 3, bitch. I'm top heals. I'm close to top damage. I'm close to top kills. I'm sick of them talking shit. Pull my numbers and talk to me. I'm talking millions. Ooh. That's not good. What? Oh my god, I show up and I'm dead instantly. This guy, he takes 13 shots before he's dead, but it's me, it's negative 0.5. Me, it's negative 5. I can't wait till healer gives the nod that they should have been given 15 years ago. Ooh. Well, whatever! I'm so sick of dying mid-air as I use an ult. I'm so sick of it. This guy did not kill me. No, no, no. I'm so sick of that. Come on, man. I die mid-air as I ult. Does the soldier die when he ults? Or anybody else in the game? No. But every healer dies the second they ult. It's so stupid. I'm just gonna, like, fucking school you bitches, and I'm not gonna do some fucking damage here. Fuck this. Yep. Ooh. Could you get a kill? Any of you guys get a kill? Nah, they're better than us. Sorry. Yeah, it's been 10 minutes since our DPS got a kill. They choked up and threw the game. There it is. Never mind. I take it back. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. They didn't throw the game like I thought. They did turn it around and got some kills after 10 minutes of 0 kills. And I'm not kidding. I watched that chart. I watched this chart. He's been 12 kills for 10 minutes. And he finally got 1, and we might win. I'm the only one doing damage to this tank at all. 5 of us, and I'm the only one who killed him. I'm the only one who did any damage to him at all. Woo! Yeah! Dominated that bitch on top. OT clan on top, bitch. Yeah. Victory. 10 and 7, 11,000, best heals. I did about the same as their DPS did, you know. Yep, it was good. I got my endorsements. It was good. Pretty fun how all the rest of the people who were getting nano visored in that match took 7 to 13 hits to kill headshot. I took 1 for full health. Did you guys notice that? How bad they stack the decks against you when you're a healer? You take 4 or 5 times X the damage anybody else does. You have no mitigation. You die in 1 hit. Those rest of those guys, they can all take 7 to 13 nano visor hits. I can take 1. And you get an idea of how much better I am than them. I'm better than them. I can live longer than them. I'm better than them. I don't need 13 hits to kill someone. If I were to roll with a real team, I mean, I do this all the time. When I roll with a real team, we just dominate whatever game it is inside of a week. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't want to play like that anymore, so I try and give you guys a fair fight, you know? I had a wall between me and him. What? Okay, no, I didn't. What? I suppose that it would be better to fish in WoW. It would make more money, I suppose. I suppose that is the thing, yeah. I'd rather fish in WoW than fish in Final Fantasy XI. Okay, let's play video.
Girlfriend, become the girlfriend. If you can't get a girlfriend, become the girlfriend. To most, this phrase is nothing more than a funny quip. However, one man's meme is another man's maxim, and in 2018, an individual on 4chan took this idea so seriously as to try to turn every self-loathing, lonely anon on the site into a cute femboy, even if it was against their will. In the process, he turns the internet against him, starting a manhunt to dox him, track him down, and hold him accountable for his crimes. This is a story about incels, shills, sissification, grooming, and blackmail. This is the story of Reiko's trap. And before we begin, I'd like to clarify that the purpose of this video is not to make any political statements or push an agenda.
No.
The various viewpoints expressed by all individuals I'll be covering are not necessarily my own. While most
and are crazy. Definitely
think of
crazy.
as a whole as an incel site, particular boards represent that demographic far more than others. Case in point, Robot 9001, better known as /R9K. While not its original purpose, it has, in effect, become a board dedicated primarily to neets, or those who are not in education, employment, or training.
Oh.
To put it simply, it's the hikikomori, guys living in their mother's basements, or people who are otherwise socially withdrawn, and they call themselves robots. Robots come together to discuss their lives, or rather, their struggles, such as not having friends, a girlfriend, or any life prospects to speak of. Even the more mundane aspects of their lives are often the topic of conversation, because of the unusual challenges they face. A lot of humorous screen text has come from this board as a result. Had an itchy bottom for weeks. Notice when I wash more, it doesn't itch so much. Wash every day, itching goes away. Stop washing every day, and itching comes back. I think I've found a good reason to wash every day, bros. Never used to bother me, sitting around not washing for a few days. But maybe it's age. What things have you learned about yourself lately, R9K? You people are...
Oh. Turns out that bathing oneself is good. Damn it.
Are absolutely disgusting. Local Anon discovers that hygiene has actual functions. B11. Store all my Legos in the closets in a room that no one uses. One day, sister's friend comes over. She finds the Legos I've built and collected. Destroys all of them. Find out about it after she leaves. Fall into a Great Depression. Quit Legos because of it. That bitch. You should find her and stalk her. Build a Lego hammer and beat her to death. I once pretended to have a psychotic episode and smashed a MacBook with a bat to keep my brother and his fiancée from stumbling across pictures I photoshopped of her giving birth to me. Of course, we can't forget all the notorious images of people's piss jugs and catastrophic looking rooms from their absolutely demented lifestyles. But it's not all fun and games. As much as we like to joke about them, these situations take their toll on people. Robots are understandably desperate considering their living conditions, so threads on the board often have a depressing undertone, or a resentful one, where people
or a resentful one,
and so-called normies who unfairly get to enjoy the perks of being well-adjusted while they don't. Though the stereotype has always existed, R9K set the gold standard for the loser archetype, a guy obsessed with those who do better than him, usually ranting about Chads, Alphas, Stacy's, and a dictionary's worth of other newspeak you've probably heard before. And sometimes their frustration takes a drastic turn for the worse. Multiple mass shootings have been associated with 4chan, but one case was connected to R9K in particular. You may have seen the post in question before. Some of you guys are alright. Don't go to school tomorrow if you are in the Northwest. A thread will be posted tomorrow morning. So long, space robots. This post, made on September 30th, 2015, wasn't just an edgy troll, as the next day, a shooting would take place at Umpqua Community College, with the perpetrator taking 9 lives and injuring 8 others. In another case, a teenager named Shuab Aslam shot himself on livestream, holding up a paper that read, "By R9K." All around, it's a terrible state of affairs. Worse still, certain risks are posed by congregating such a large pool of people with poor mental health. They're vulnerable to manipulation or being taken advantage of. If someone wanted to, they could promise these Anons what they want most in life: companionship, validation, even an outlet for their sexual frustration. All a thinly veiled disguise for...
faster than even the swiftest horse. These great beasts
on 4chan, shills are commonplace. If you've ever gone on it to ask a question, you've probably been called one. But what is a shill? Well, a shill is someone who tries to engage in deceptive or covert advertising. Shills pose as regular posters to appear natural and blend in as if they were unrelated individuals, while promoting something they're associated with. However, the people labeled as shills usually advertise something that goes against a board's typical ideology or set of values. So it's used pejoratively against them when observant Anons notice their mischief. Maybe someone's trying to promote their Discord server when people are just trying to talk on the board. Or perhaps it'll be an individual attempting to push leftist ideas on a far-right board. Or vice versa. Some shills just want to derail conversations and threads by starting pointless arguments. Do a little trolling, if you will, merely for its own sake. Others make what is called a slide thread, a meaningless thread meant to decrease the quality of the conversations happening on the board. It fits the board's purpose just enough so that it doesn't get moved to another board or deleted.
You know what the effect of all this was? I never used the forum again. I have not used the forum since 2018, I think. And the effect of all this was 5 years ago, long before COVID or any of that stuff. I just never ever used a forum ever again. I don't care about people who are on forums. I don't care about Reddit.
Of making other threads slide down on the board's catalog, hence the name. But not all shilling is created equal. Some shills are more creative and unorthodox than others. Sure, you could just promote your Discord server or your ideology, but what if you promoted a Discord server with an ideology that's consisted exclusively of compelling lonely men to cross-dress? It sounds weird, but in 2019, R9K became flooded with so-called trap threads, which proselytized the benefits of becoming trans or just cross-dressing and being a femboy. Let's be clear here. We're not talking about the trans threads on a board like LGBT, for example, which serve as a forum for trans people to vent and share information. The threads on R9K were attempting to market the transition to lowlifes and outcasts by pandering to their insecurities. If intrusive gay thoughts were ever a thing, these certainly read like them. So why haven't you become a cute girl yet, Anon? It's so easy to do. HRT is actually ridiculously cheap. Already looking pretty feminine just from some light exercise and a decent diet. Time to leave the male gender behind. He hasn't taken the trap pill yet. Why do you want to be lonely? So why haven't you taken the pink pill yet, Anon? It's extremely cheap and easy to get. Girls don't have to be lonely. So why haven't you become a cutie girl yet, Anon? It was sold as a way to get laid, with the catch being that you're gonna get laid with another dude. If you can't attract a woman, become a woman and attract men instead. As ridiculous as it sounds, R9K is a red board, meaning it allows not safe for work content. Add to that the pre-existing popularity of anime and fetishistic content among this demographic of men, and this material infested the board with ease. Just post a thread with a picture of a cross-dressing male, a trap if you will, and start selling transitioning as the solution to every robot's woes. The shenanigans didn't end there. There were also guides and instructionals, such as how to achieve trap mode aesthetics. This image includes diet and exercise recommendations, including but not limited to eating more soy, drinking water from plastic bottles with BPA, eating less meat, and drinking semen. Of course, much of this material was more explicit in nature, but we can't get into all of it. Now, a lot of people were not happy about this. You can see them in the replies to these threads, being annoyed by the incessant posting of topics which they were at best uninterested in, and at worst, repulsed by and ideologically opposed to. RNK is a
and ideologically opposed to. You mean they're sexist and they're fucking homophobic. Ideologically opposed to. Listen to the right.
content. Same threads day in, day out. I mean, the board has clearly failed to do its job, so just delete it already. You're all going to get tired of spamming this, and everyone's going to go back to posting. But who was behind such a ridiculous effort, and why? Was it completely organic, or was someone trying to convince presumably straight men to become gay? And how could that even work? Were Anons suddenly discovering their true sexuality en masse? Was this a sinisterly orchestrated plot, or just a troll of some sorts to make the board so flooded with homoerotic material as to make it unusable for the average denizen? Whatever the case was, robots were getting fed up. They wanted answers, and answers they would soon get. It was suspected for a while that this was a coordinated effort organized in Discord servers to overrun the board. Later, in March 2018, these suspicions would be confirmed. A tidal wave of information would emerge over just a few days, exposing what had been brewing for the past several months. The exact order in which the leaks were made is unclear, since this disorganized investigation took place on 4chan. But one of the first iterations of the story as we now know it was made on March 24th, 2018. An anonymous user posted the following. Reminder that Redacteds have been on a campaign to psychologically brainwash young and vulnerable males. Attached to this post was a screenshot of Discord messages sent by a user named Reiko. They're talking to someone else named Haruka, saying, "First victim of the night. I won't rest until every sissy boy on R9K has started HRT, or at the very least cross-dressing. Less jeans in the world, and more traps for me. Attached to Reiko's message was an image of someone responding to him on 4chan saying, "Thanks, Anon, I'll think about it more seriously," presumably referring to the prospect of transitioning. Either this screenshot was a fabrication, or there was indeed someone trying to push cross-dressing on R9K to satisfy their fetish. As more screenshots of Reiko leaked, the internet would soon find out that it was the latter. Another image was posted of Reiko listing all of the threads he started on R9K. Why haven't you transitioned yet, Anon? You won't have to be lonely anymore. What's stopping you from becoming the girlfriend? When will you take the trap pill, Anon? I decided to become a trap a few years ago, and now I stopped being a hikikomori and am enjoying life to the fullest. These are all of our current threads. Again, he was discussing this with Haruka, who said, "They are onto us." In that same screenshot, Reiko says, "lol," laughing at the following angry response to his shilling. 3 of these threads are up right now, asking the same thing in the catalog. You are a predator, and I hope no joy ever comes to your life. You motherfucker. You can psyop your pole or soch, but to push your sick fish on these lonely, depressed robots personally disgusts me. The third screenshot takes place in a channel called #TrapShill, suggesting that they dedicated a whole server to these activities. Reiko discusses how their operation is going with another user named Sorion. Really, it's unbelievable how they think it's just us. It's so dumb how they haven't figured out that there are loads of people I've got just to shill. So, Ray, how do you want to switch up the trap threads to avoid being filtered? Reiko: yes, we should do that. It's not very difficult to get past filters, to be honest. Just put random spaces, misspell things, etc, etc. Sorion: true. Really, R9K is so dumb, they'd probably suspect us of making it so our trap threads don't get filtered. Lol. Though I'm still wondering about the loyalty of the people I've hired. Reiko: I mean, you're paying them to do such an easy thing. I don't see why anyone would go against us and f that up. Free money, pretty much. Sorion: while that's true, lots of people want to work for both sides to gain the benefits of the two. They want to gain my show money while gathering info. Some screenshots dated a few months earlier show the beginnings of this operation and the philosophy behind it all, if you can call it that. Reiko: want to join my harem Discord? You can help convince the femboys and traps there to take HRT. Screen cap everything the non-believers say. We'll have the last laugh. Haruka: yes, this operation will be kicked into overdrive once I get enough money to pay shills to tell people to transition. Then we will create a world where everyone gets laid. A paradise. Reiko: tears of joy. Haruka: the world is poised to turn all beta males into those who will die as virgins or become redacteds and get laid. We will accelerate this future by converting all robots on R9K into male to female girls. Our job is to accelerate human evolution. In the future, 60% of all born men will be converted into T-girls with HRT and surgery if they don't have enough masculine features, or if their genes predispose them towards a life of rejection by women if they grow up as men. They are not men, they are girls. Parentheses, male. Haruka. In the future, there will be no Huns, and all traps will have a big set of nice boobs and curves and female bone structures. It's too late for the majority of us. I, for example, cannot transition since it would compromise my life socially. But other than that, I really believe I should be transitioning. We must encourage everyone who can to do it. Everyone who can pass should be doing it. Many people don't get laid because girls are hypergamous, mostly because they're soy boys, and soy boys are basically closet redacteds. Haruka, when you post trap threads on Poll, some of them will say, I want a trap girlfriend. The idea is inside everyone. We target these Poll redacteds and use it to turn Poll into redacteds. It will spread from these to the others. Haruka is talking about the prospect of the far-right users on the board / poll becoming fashy femboys. I don't know what's more cataclysmic, this or the time when /MLP and /poll fused into ML poll and became a hateful brony board. In any case, there was some question of how long all of this had been going on. If you were to look up the Discord username Reiko3333 on Discord, you would find that he'd been shilling, presumably this same Discord server, on R9K for quite some time. Most recently, in March 2018, he posted, recruiting traps, redacteds, and females for my harem Discord. Add me up. But it went all the way back to November 2017 when he made a thread saying, hey, any traps want to join my harem Discord to fluff up the numbers so I don't look pathetic? Apparently, this really was an operation to turn the robots gay, orchestrated by a clearly demented man with too much time on his hands. But what were his motives? Well, it's actually not hard to guess. Dated September 2017, we have the following work of literary horror and hilarity from Reiko himself, though there's some question of this being a copy pasta. My ultimate fantasy is kidnapping a cute boy and locking him up in my basement. I will let him consume nothing but soylent, estrogen, and milk mixed with my... Every day when I catch him about to sleep in bed, I will enter his room, manhandle him into a chair, restrain him, and put him in front of a monitor that is showing terabytes of sissy hypno videos. As he falls more and more for my psyop, I will leave adult toys around his room for him to play with. Near the end of his training, I will remove all the toys from his room and leave makeup, shaving tools, and dresses in his room. I will deny him any kind of pleasure for a week straight, but when he is completely lust-filled, I will descend into his room with nothing but a mask on. Haruka, on the other hand, explains their actions with the following. Most actual trans people need a push to end repression, and by giving that push, we can save them from even worse, Hun status. Since you can't actually make someone trans, giving the wrong person a push is fairly low risk and harmless. Ergo, it makes sense to push and push aggressively. Point is, I think most of us wish we'd figured it out younger and would have appreciated someone pushing us. So we try to make the world a better place by pushing others. But the most insane and anime villain-esque explanation of all came from a user on the server named Malfian. This same guy seemed to believe he was a wizard, which honestly is on brand with the message that follows. Those who find me often ask, will the spam stop? And what will it take for this to end? And I have an answer. The spam will never stop as long as normies infest my board. I've been here 10 years, and I intend to be here 10 years longer. The changes I see are ones of calcification and drifting towards the normalcy of Google, YouTube, etc., where everything is sanitized and frozen in time. I do not care one way or the other about the current zeitgeist of transgenderism, just like I did not care back in 2014 about cuckoldry or Gamergate. What will be made clear, however, is that if you decide to visit this ancestral land of filth and decay, that you will not leave unchanged. You shall become something that you once hated, and forevermore shall you be that twisted and horrid thing. No, I do not care for simply victory over this invasion, I shall see minds warped and bodies mutated into purposeless forms by the changer of ways. With the consent of those weak-willed enough to heed the siren's calls, I fill the board with. There is no victory over the chaos we presently represent, but there is victory over the souls and minds of the visitors and the casual users of the board. I will not stop until every man who dares enter this holy place of ours is faced with a wall of knives, onto which he shall willingly fall upon, or a wall of needles, which will close in and mutate him into the abominations we love to laugh at. The trap spam has threefold purpose: to normalize the idea of trans people as a force in their lives, to confuse the users into seeing femininity and masculinity where there is none or both, and to convince the users of a prevalence of these ideas in outside society. Those that actually do go outside and see the world for what it is know that there are nowhere near as many traps as are presented, but chances are, if they go out that frequently, they do not have the time or alignment to argue against it with their likely liberal views and busy schedules. If the mods act against us, there are countless countermeasures against them. If the users act against us, they shall not emerge unbroken in spirits. If the newest and best abominations change, then we'll just change gear like when we started the cuck spam to start the redacted spam. No singular act can stop us. No group of people with the knowledge of our deeds and plans could ever hope to stop it any more than a storm spotter can stop a hurricane.
Storm spotter, any more than a storm spotter can stop a hurricane. It's the words of a 14-year-old child.
Long now, and this present pain we all feel will be from places upon the backs of those
these present pain that we all feel. Fucking ignorant incel.
Against the primordial. With this determination, we shall shatter Overton's window and scream to the highest heavens. And
let's go see what Overton's window is, but I'm sure that's something fucking psychotic. What the fuck is that? What? Their likely liberal views and busy schedules. If the mods act against us, there are countless countermeasures against them. If the users act against us, they shall not emerge unchanged and unbroken in spirit. If the newest and best abominations change, then we'll change gear, just like when we stopped the cuck spam to start the... What are you talking about?
Lowest hells, until the decision is made to turn the damned hole into a wall. And once more, may we know the peace of isolation, along with these screenshots.
Oh my god, it's so psychotic. It's like, with this determination, we shall shatter Overton's window. Which is like a thing about, the term is named after American policy analyst Joseph Overton, who stated that an idea's political viability depends mainly on whether it falls within this range, rather than on politicians' individual preferences. Is it viable, right? They're like, if it's viable for somebody to be a gay, anarcho-communist trans, then it, you know, according to Overton, the window frames the range of policies that a politician can recommend without appearing too extreme to gain or keep public office, given the climate of public opinion at that time. I'm sorry, but to me, this really is, it's like copy pasta. Those that actually do go outside and see the world for what it is, Those that actually do go out and go outside and see the world, right, is where it ends. But it's a copy pasta because then it says and see the world for what it is, which is like actually copy pasta. I believe this is copy pasta. Know that there are nowhere near as many traps as are presented, but chances are if they go out that frequently, they do not have time nor alignment to argue against it with their likely liberal views and busy schedules. What the fuck does that even mean?
And once more, may we know the peace of isolation, along with
it sounds. I'm sorry, but you know what it sounds like? It sounds like a mousy incel virgin who's cooked in his own juices for like 25 years past the age of puberty, and he's like 36 now or something like that. And he's like bitter, and he's reached his own conclusions about like sex or whatever because he's never had it. And it's really fucking weird. It just
supposedly involved.
Like, and they talk about politics and like the politics of their like weird Reddit boards and all this, like it's some sort of weird national politics, like it's some kind of Hitler campaign.
It had all but confirmed the allegations.
And the whole bit is steeped in neurolinguistics, buzzwords, Reddit, 15-year-old minds who just have no discipline and have never been given like a path to walk down before, so they just follow their own dumb brains down the incel femboy blackmail cult tendencies that their brains have.
Points, which all in all seems like,
and the internet just feeds this, and when they never do meet a person of the opposite gender, and when they never do meet like anybody of any real purport,
gay perverted but mostly harmless,
and they live out that like Napoleon Dynamite life where they're like, oh cool, it was kind of cool in high school to talk about bow skills and like ligers and stuff like that, but by the time I'm 36, I'm actually Christian or whatever. Not I'm actually Christian, but like, you know, like by the time you're 36 and you're still talking about these weird buzzwords and this is a reality for you, you think about this all day.
and entertaining ploy. At the most, it was annoying for R9K users. And who knows, maybe a few people were converted into Reiko's femboy religion. But altogether, it looked more like basement dwellers trolling other basement dwellers and acting like Machiavellian puppet masters in the process. But the story doesn't end there. It would be mere days before more sensationalistic and sinister accusations about Reiko and his true motives started cropping up. On April 4th, an Anon made the following post on R9K. Join Trap Discord group. They asked me for a picture of me dressed up in order to join, showing face. Is like a cult. Everyone worships some redacted called Reiko. Turns out they've doxed me and have all my info. They're blackmailing me with the pic, saying that if I don't take HRT, they will mail it to my family and friends. They've done this to numerous other people. What the f do I do now? Now, this post could be fake, but if it was to be trusted, the same Reiko that had been exposed before for shilling was allegedly blackmailing unsuspecting people into transitioning IRL. Now, there was only one message from Reiko about this in the original leaked screenshots, saying, at Waseru, if I don't have another picture of your thighs by the end of the hour, I will be messaging your mom about your little secrets. Although, considering Waseru was supposedly one of the people involved, it was probably a joke. However, in another screenshot, Reiko mentions he has 3 servers, one being the trap hosting server, and another one he calls the harem. This recalled his earlier post on 4chan about his Discord trap harem.
It's funny when adults get a hold of this, because it's kind of like some 14-year-old scribbled a bunch of text on the side of a bathroom wall, and then the entire internet comes in to read it, and they're like, here is the interpretations of this bathroom wall text. And I mean this. This is like literally what he's doing right now. And the worst part, he got like 3 million views doing it, where he essentially psychoanalyzed the weird crazy shit that you read in the men's bathrooms, public men's bathrooms. And he got 3 million hits doing this because most people aren't willing to build a career around essentially bathroom wall politics.
Which lent more credibility to the idea that he was rounding up people in servers to exploit them for his own gratification. However,
BRB, I gotta
much
pee.
more evidence than this. Well, another person, also on April 4th, posted something slightly more concrete. An image of them with the name Reiko written on their chest, as well as the phrase, PSN owns this, with an arrow pointing down into their pants. Along with this, they said, here you go. Reiko made me write his name on my body. I literally don't know what to do. Other images also surfaced of people writing Reiko's name on their bodies. These rumors and allegations spread like wildfire. People hated the trap posters already, and this justified their loathing and suspicions that these people were unhinged creeps. Plenty of threads were started on R9K to discuss, investigate, and collate info about the subject. Anons made videos and posts on other sites to summarize and further propagate the story about Reiko and his harem. Guy called Reiko and his pals gain the trust of boys with physical insecurities and get them to dress up in girly clothes and send pictures. Once these people have been doxxed, they are blackmailed to take HRT, or else their pictures will be sent to friends and family. We all have friends, family, and colleagues who browse R9K, an image board for young lonely lads to talk about despair and cry everywhere. But they are at horrendous risk from scammers. Yes, that's right. These furiously fetishing fiends are seeking vulnerable R9K bots to turn them into
we all have friends, family, and colleagues who browse R9K, an image board for young lonely lads to talk about despair and cry everywhere. But if they are at horrendous risk from scammy fucktards, yes, that's right, these furiously something fiends are seeking vulnerable R9K bots to turn them into their little sissy boy slaves, using all sorts of emotional manipulation, threats, and ducks.
Fiends are seeking vulnerable R9K bots to turn them into their little sissy boy slaves.
And it's like weird because it's like at this point, like this gets so beyond even what I would call a freak of nature. This stuff is pointless freak of nature, so it should be completely universally reviled. It is beyond pointless, on top of alarming and disgusting. It's beyond pointless.
Sorts of emotional manipulation, threats, and docs. They're turning the freaking robots gay. It's developing.
Oh my god. It's like an entire meme. Even when he talks, it's like an entire meme. So, but it's still funny.
Pussygate 2018. The theory was that Reiko and his gang had chosen to conduct this psyop on R9K because the men there had a lot of pent-up desire, and they just wanted some kind of intimate interaction or validation, no matter what it was.
Oh,
it
God.
It didn't matter if they had to get that validation by cross-dressing, and it didn't matter if it was coming from a guy like Reiko. Internet sleuths dug up Reiko's other accounts to find any other details about the man that could potentially dox him. He had a Twitch account, a profile on Steam, and a YouTube channel. Oh, look. How to draw an anime trap. Yeah, I'd say that sounds about right. People were already far, far into the land of speculation at this point, which ties
far, far, far into the land of, like, non-reality. like straight up, like the land of Nod.
Just a few weeks before
you know, anything that comes out of the Bible.
18. So people tried to connect his death to Reiko. Remember that boy who skull-capped himself the other week? Apparently, he was caught up in it. While it was during the same period, and he was in the UK, there's no evidence of a connection other than that. and it ended up being nothing more than a rumor that spread solely because people kept repeating it. However, if true, it would explain why he did it, since, as his name indicates, he was either from a Muslim family or a Muslim country, and cross-dressing would be frowned upon, to say the least. However, until then, there was no solid proof that Reiko had been blackmailing anyone. Running a sissy hypno psyop? Sure. But coaxing people into taking HRT, threatening to dox them, forcing them to write his name on themselves as opposed to them doing it willingly, there wasn't much of anything to back those allegations up. Well,
it just gets dumber from here. So here's a new Turkey Tom from an hour ago.
My name is Richard, last name Burgess.
I'm a sadist. I enjoy hurting people.
My YouTube channel's Vegan Gains. I'm a vegan animal rights activist.
The only use I can see getting out of you is cutting your fucking skin up and turning you into my new fucking lord.
And that's what most of my content centers around, but I also do health and fitness and political stuff and social issues.
I just want to put my foot through the fucking thing and step on it until it's nothing but blood and pulp on the fucking pavement. Got a sack of potatoes here. Do potatoes contain corn? You make me feel a hell of a lot better, you piece of shit. Yeah, but that doesn't
Glad the guy's dead. One less animal abuser left alive.
tell me where the fucking corn is.
it's hard to find a group more universally mocked than vegans. If you look almost anywhere on social media, you'll probably come across some sort of meme or video poking fun at them. And for good reason, because a lot of these dudes are pretty funny.
Ain't nothing like a good salad. I said, ain't nothing like a good salad. Hey, I'm vegan.
Many people see them as pretentious overreactors to a relatively trivial issue. Groups like PETA haven't helped this reputation in any way, and have actually done the opposite from what they regularly post on social media, and what they've done outside of social media, like abducting people's dogs. Vegan YouTubers, to their credit, have worked to challenge and dismantle the prevailing narrative that's built up that vegans are annoying over the years. One man trying to spread the vegan lifestyle is Richard Burgess, also known online as Vegan Gains. Richard has gained quite a reputation over the years for his unwavering dedication to promoting a vegan lifestyle. His journey into the world of veganism began back in 2015, and since then, he's gone to great lengths to showcase the advantages of this dietary choice, albeit sometimes employing rather unconventional methods.
I fucking hate children. They literally make me sick. When I see babies in a commercial, I start to gag and almost throw up, and I have to look away and mute it.
From laughing at his grandfather dying of a heart attack, to getting into actual real-life confrontations with other vegan YouTubers, supposedly making fun of a kid who was dying of cancer, and even having short feuds with massive creators like Leafy, Grade A Under A, Onision, and Moist Critical, it's fair to say he's an abrasive personality.
Did you see Andrew Tate is claiming to have lung cancer now? Hopefully.
As a result of this, many have called Vegan Gains a clout chaser.
I mean,
drama with larger creators with the sole purpose of getting attention for his own selfish gain. They say he makes vegans look bad as a whole. They say his crude, distasteful humor, even going to the point of mocking the recently deceased because they hate meat, is bad. But I've always found Vegan Gains fascinating despite the outrage. Thankfully, Richard himself agreed to meet up with me and answer any questions I may have about his controversies and his life. So today, join me as I take a never-before-seen look at his past to see how he may have ended up the way he is today. We're going to take a deep dive inside the mind of the internet's most psychotic vegan.
So, how you feeling? Good. It's 11 a.m. in the morning. We're currently on our way to Best Buy to pick up some stuff because today we are meeting with psychotic vegan YouTuber Vegan Gains. Probably like the most infamous vegan on the internet. I can't really think of anyone who comes close. Honestly, I can't even think of any other vegans online. He's really just him. I'm honestly kind of nervous to hang out with him today because he said he was down for a video and like that's all good. Like he's down for collabs and stuff. But he says crazy stuff.
you sound really, 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 really naive to me. I'm talking really naive. Like you somehow lucked in over the last 5 years to not destroy your career or get canceled purely by your ignorance. You're like your ignorance protected you from it.
I asked him about meat eaters and like what he would do if it was legal to kill them, and he was like, "Yeah, I mean, if it was legal, I would probably meat eaters, to be honest with you. Like, there'd just be nothing stopping me from bashing their fucking heads in. And I was like, oh, okay. We're in that kind of territory, I guess. So, I don't know, I'm a little nervous, personally. Like, he might, you know, cave my head in like a coconut or something. Do I know that's gonna happen? No. But, yeah, definitely a little nervous, so.
And as always, keep in mind, I don't necessarily
He's an
endorse or
American.
support any opinions expressed by Vegan Gains. This video has been created for entertainment, education, and comedy purposes only. Thank you. Much of what we know about Vegan Gains' early life comes from his own mouth. That being said, given a lot of the information he shared doesn't exactly paint him in a positive light, I'm willing to believe his stories. Richard Burgess was born in 1991 in Canada. These formative years were marred by an atmosphere that he himself describes as somewhat hostile. The primary reason for this was his parents' relentless obsession with his involvement in hockey. His parents were extremely committed to making sure he had a strict training regimen. The weight of this expectation bore heavily on his shoulders, creating immense pressure for a young boy. The intensity of that obsession would lead them to shame and humiliate him, especially when he didn't perform up to their lofty standards, or if his team suffered a loss on the ice. Richard recalls the uncomfortable car rides home, marked by their angry tirades, where they would berate him with scathing criticisms, accusing him of playing poorly and insinuating that he should feel ashamed for merely attempting to try to play hockey. Richard has also said he had asthma as a child, and he attributes this to potentially being the reason why. It's rumored that the ice rinks he would constantly play on actually had ammonia spilling out of the fridges, which could have killed him. Sometimes as a child while riding his bike, Richard would start choking profusely and eventually collapse before passing out. He would wake up soon after and barely remember anything, and the doctors would subsequently diagnose him with asthma. These recollections of his family life in those early years are far from fond memories. Instead, they represent the lowest point in his childhood, a period marked by his family fighting and emotional hardship. There were small benefits, though. He recognizes that enduring such harsh criticism and relentless pressure may have inadvertently equipped him with the ability to deal with criticism in the future and overcome any obstacle. These early lessons in resilience would prove invaluable as he started making online content, where the YouTube comment section can be just as unforgiving as the ice rink.
Yeah, I got into it's a pretty hostile environment growing up.
It's the ice rink.
Crazy hockey parents. I had to do a lot of training.
Yeah, I can relate to this. I came up, my mother was crazy in the Scottish Fold Cat Fanciers Association. If you don't know what these things are, a Scottish Fold looks like this, right? You seen it before? Yeah. My mom, she was like the most famous Scottish Fold breeder in the world. And she owned the greatest sire, which is the greatest breeder in a Scottish Fold history. His name is Tracker. And she was a big muckety muck in the CFA, which is the Cat Fanciers Association. Yeah, there's other stuff, but yeah, Cat Fanciers, like as in cats, right? And there's also TICA, which is like the Trans International Cat Association. And then there's the CFA, which is the Cat Fanciers Association. And my mom was like political power in both of these organizations, which comprised of, if you want the most female power and money in the world, and it's going to sound sexist when I say this, but the most female power and money in the world is in the Cat Fanciers Association and TICA, which is like TICA, or the international, I think it's like TICA Cat, right? The TICA Cat thing is like the International Cat Association, and right, TICA. And so my mom was like royalty in CFA and TICA. And she controlled the lives of hundreds of people who were judges and breeders and cat fanciers and stuff in this whole world. And so every time I want to laugh at somebody like this who kind of who cracks a joke about coming up in a weird world such as
the ice rink.
Yeah, I got into, like, it's a pretty hostile environment growing up. I had some pretty crazy hockey parents. I had to do...
Yeah, so he had hockey parents, right? I had cat breeder parents. And they had political and weird stuff going on with cat breeders.
Do a lot of training, had a lot of pressure on me.
These are rich people problems that I can't relate to, that I never could relate to even when I was a kid. And
if I like just didn't play well, I was kind of like shamed and humiliated by my parents.
Like in front of other kids, how would they shame you?
Yeah, so like if your cat had a stiff tail or bad ears, or they were born differently from other cats, or they were like maybe they weren't as strong genetically or bones wise as their Dyer and Sam, or sorry, Dam or Sire. What is it? I'm sorry, it's a queen or a king in the cat fancier world, right? So I know more about cat pedigrees. You know what it reminds me of is The Office, when Aaron talks about being an expert in racing horses. I was and am an expert in Scottish foals, Scottish fold judging, Scottish fold breeding, Scottish fold body types and pedigree and stuff. I am a Scottish fold cat expert. I know what the best in the world is and how to breed them and all this. I have like some knowledge having to do with like, you know, straight ear to fold ear breeding and such, and all this other weird stuff going on with the Scottish fold and cat breeds. And so when this guy talks about it being embarrassing when his hockey parents were pissed off that he didn't win his game, I can kind of relate, because like for 10 years or something like that, when I was a child, every weekend when normally I would have gone to a basketball game to play with my friends, or maybe over to my best friend's house to play like Mario 3 or Super Mario World or something like that, right? Or even just going down to shoot like say like a BB gun or something like that at your friend's target practice range or something. Or maybe you want to sit on the porch or something like that. It doesn't matter what it is. You still are an expert in show cats, and the rest of the world isn't. And the endless derogatory just pleasure from this that you might experience is kind of hilarious. Like, for instance, when I was a kid, I used to bring my friends over to my house. And you know what that meant? When I was under the age of 18, when I brought my friends over to my house, that meant that we would play with the kittens for 5 hours. And we would socialize them, and we would comb them, and we would look for fleas, and we would like do cat care stuff as a like a fucking like a hobby, or a way to pass the time, or like proving that you have a lot of knowledge about this stuff, how to birth kittens. Like I haven't birthed kittens myself, but when I think about this, I birthed kittens. I've never birthed kittens myself, but I've been there firsthand for the birth of like 35 litters of kittens or something like that in my lifetime, because I have a lot of cat knowledge in terms of cat breeding. And I don't know why I have this knowledge, and I don't want it, and I don't really need it. And I don't think like knowing a lot about Scottish fold breeding and Scottish fold straight ear to fucking fold ear sexual politics and how kings and queens behave when they're in heat and it's breeding season and all this weird shit. I didn't want to know any of that. I just know it. And my mom taught me all this stuff. And the reason she taught me this stuff, and I'll tell you why, is she was like, if you can breed Scottish fold cats, you'll never have to worry about your bills ever again. Because as long as you're willing to take a litter of kittens and raise them and socialize them and make them the best in the world, you can be whatever you want to be, and you don't have to work. And she's been telling me things like this since I was like 12 years old. And she's not wrong. She's definitely not wrong. I feel like video games will eventually be what cats were for her. Where like eventually like my job and my ego and everything will be caught up in it. And I try not to be like that. I really try not to be like that when I do this, you know? But, you know, it's kind of weird when he, like most people can't relate to this dude talking about hockey parents, or even somebody like, say, like Kieran or Macaulay Culkin, when they talk about being the kids of rich people. But I mean, I was the kid of a rich person, and their silly lives based around moving antiques around. I seriously, for like 15 years, my life was like this. It was like breeding cats, expensive show cats that sell for between $3,000 and $50,000 a piece, and antiques that cost between $1,000 and $3,000, but would sell for between $30,000 and $70,000. And going all over the Eastern Seaboard, going to cat shows and antique shows and coffee houses, and meeting with rich, dumb people who have too much money and too much time to spend on something like a hobby, such as breeding Scottish folds, right? And after all of that, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, you might be interested in it, and you might like the magic cards or the video games as much as I do. You might even like the cats as much as I do, as I like the video games. But it doesn't make you a better person to obsess over these things endlessly every single day of your life. And this is my mother's greatest point to me, is she's like, life is about the journey, not the destination. And she tells me all the time weird variations of this. And she's like, you only worry about the work that takes you to whatever goal you're aiming at. And she was like, you have to relax and enjoy yourself and be there. And I was like, okay, I promise I will. And I have. I've been very good about that. I've enjoyed myself, and I love where I am right now. But that doesn't change the fact that I know a lot more about breeding an exotic breed of cat called Scottish Folds than I do know about something like, say, algebra. I know more about breeding cats than I do about algebra, or even, say, I don't know, what's a good example? Periodic table of the elements, or something like that. I know the cat world and the cat breeds and what they can and can't breed and how much money can be made. Like the way that say people who go to horse racing all the time, who track the jockeys, do. Like Aaron in that movie, in that show, The Office. They really wanted to make fun of it. They made fun. The only joke that I've ever thought actually came close to me that Hollywood or anybody else has ever cracked. I'm such a weird, crazy individual. But that one was very Hollywood and very funny. Look at you, you freak of nature. You know the names of all the top show cats in history. Why do you know that? and and I love this in The Office when she's just like, well, the sires and the dams' names are Tracker, Elise, Fei, and I start listing names of crazy Scottish fold queens and kings that set the genre that people like Taylor Swift, and I shit you not, Taylor Swift like bought a cat from my mother. And like, you know, and it's just crazy. And like people like Taylor Swift care about this, but I don't. I just have insider info about breeding Scottish folds for some reason. I have a lot of insider info. I know how to operate firearms and shotguns so well that I own them. And I do not worry about physical attack because I know so much about them that I don't fear any fucking opponent. Does that make sense? I've been forced to wrestle my friends since I was like, not wrestle, but like beat my friends physically since I was like 8 years old. And I don't really fear another man and their bullshit unless they're strapped up with some kind of hollow point fucking AR-15 and it's leveled at my chest. But even then, I bet I could maybe figure out some way around it. Because it's like, I don't have any hate in my heart. And that's the difference. When they look at me and I talk to them and I say, look, man, I can't think of anything in this world that I don't like. They're going to understand that I don't live in hate. I don't have any bias. I don't care what your religion is, or like I don't care what you worship, or who's better, who's more rich, or whatever the fuck. I'm talking about like excuse me. I know a lot more about things that I know a lot more about things that I just don't care about than I ever cared to admit. Like, I know more about football cards and baseball cards and model trains and Magic cards and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Super Nintendo, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 4, all the way through to like your various like hot actresses, your best bands that are alive right now at the moment, all my dead heroes, and all the weird obsessions that I had over my life. And I don't know what to do with all of that information except for cherish it, because it is worth nothing. And so let's go hear about this guy talk about vegans, right?
A lot of training, had a lot of pressure on me, and if I
like he had a lot of training and pressure in his life due to hockey. I had a lot of training and pressure in my life due to the fact that my family was rich, and I had to learn everything that they did, everything.
Play well, I was kind of like,
and the weird, like, you wanna know why I dislike my parents and why I don't hang out with them a lot, is because, like, on the opposite side of this weird autism spectrum that I'm on, is I have evinced and shown interest in everything that everybody I've ever loved like cares about, from the bands that they're into to like the speech patterns that they use to the celebrities that they look up to and the bands that they like and the movies that they watch and the things that they truly love and all this. I am a student of those people's proclivities, but I don't agree with any of those things because I think people are so different fundamentally that I think it's lucky that we're even able to talk to each other. And so if you notice, something about this video is, for an hour and 42 minutes, this guy is not going to bring in somebody else. He's just going to talk about himself for an hour and 40 minutes.
shamed and humiliated by my parents.
Like in front of
And so because of hockey and because of horse riding and because we were rich and because I went to a poor school and I came up in places like Long Beach and the fucking Ebonics schools and shit, right? That I'm not any lesser or greater a human being than anybody else. But no, the difference is I'm just high and lazy and I prefer to skip all the work because I watched my parents do all the work of learning all the other cultures in the world and making all the money and freaking out and building all these companies and trying to get by in the world and all that. And what did it get them, right? Destitution, homelessness, poverty, balding, and or hair loss, stress, and like straight up pariah bullshit from all of our family. And this is that vibe. This kid, I respect the younger age more than I do the older age, because this kid does not lie to himself, and you'll see him right now. He'll say, nobody cares what I do. And I would say that's imposter syndrome, and I think we all kind of suffer from it. But this kid actually believes it. He believes that when he says that nobody will ever care about anything that he's ever done or whatever, and now listen to him, he'll say it too. He'll say it when he's speaking to the guy. I've never had recognition, and I don't know what to do with it, and it's freaking me out, and it's breaking me, and I'm going to acknowledge you, and I'm going to argue with you, but I'm not going to say anything, and I'm just going to sit here with my hands in my lap and try not to break. And now watch him physically do this.
Is how they shame you?
No, it was just for like
Yeah, like they're like, you're weird, dude. You're not like anybody else.
hour.
Yep.
Them saying like I played like there's no point in them like supporting me playing
Be right back.
because I suck, like, you know, that sort of crap.
Do you feel bad about that? Do you think it gave you a thick skin? Do you appreciate your upbringing, or
No, that was definitely not a good thing.
not a good thing? Do you think it shaped how you are now?
I'm sure to some degree. I think I tolerate a lot of things pretty well because of my upbringing.
Like talk online?
Yeah, like talk online.
During the formative years of his life, Richard would start attending school and immediately stood out from your typical kid. He often characterizes himself as an autistic kid, a label that, in many ways, set him apart from the rest of his peers. In the social ecosystem of his school, he was definitely an oddball. However, it's worth noting that he wasn't friendless. He was fortunate enough to have a small but loyal group of friends who stuck by his side. These friends, he would later reflect, were part of the reason he made it through high school. Yet, despite the solace he found in his close-knit circle, he couldn't escape frequent clashes with other students and teachers. These conflicts, in his own words, may have been trivial at times, but he couldn't help but wonder if they were tinged with discrimination due to his Somali heritage. One vivid memory etched into his mind was of a teacher who, in his own words, bore an uncanny resemblance to the fat lady who replaced Mr. Garrison in South Park. His words, not mine. This particular teacher appeared to single Richard out, seemingly for no discernible reason, leading him to wonder whether his ethnicity played a role in his treatment. The tribulations he faced were not limited to his interactions with teachers, though. In the theater of classroom dynamics, there existed a recurrent antagonist named David. David, though physically smaller, seemed to derive perverse pleasure from tormenting Richard. He engaged in a relentless campaign of small-scale bullying, stealing Richard's pencil case and subjecting him to incessant taunts. In this distressing situation, Richard found himself seeking recourse from authority figures in his life. His teachers and
I hear about these white boys, and I'm sorry, these are white boys. They act like white boys. They were raised by white boy money. They've got white boy problems, and they're white boys. These are white boy problems. I'm sorry. WBP, right? WBP, white boy problems, right? These kids are so fucked up because of their parents' divorce or the fact that they didn't have any friends when they were in high school and all this. How about suicide, death, drug addiction, drug overdose, rape, murder, and like pretty much anything that you wouldn't really ever want, and deal with a life like that, and then come back and tell me how much I want to validate you for the things that made you this weird cyberbully or whatever. And I'm sorry, but I've gone through 10 times what you've gone through and still am a much nicer person.
Parents, but he didn't receive very much support. This betrayal of trust left Richard feeling even more isolated, and the injustice...
And it's weird because, like, okay, now, something I gotta say about my generation and my people and my parents' families and their generations is they hid this. They hid my Asperger's from anybody who ever cared to even find out about it. They hid it like it was a family secret, like I was gay or something like that. And I'm not gay. But I'm talking about, like they hid the fact that I'm pretty crazy and I don't really beat to the same drum as anybody else, and I tend to think on the greater mold of things a lot more.
Heavily on his shoulders.
And so they were like, oh, this is a burden to us all the time, and all I can think about when I think of that is that you were a burden to me. You guys are slow. You don't think enough like my friends do. You didn't solve any problems. You just spent money. And in the same judgment that they have for me, I have for them. But they're slow. They did work. Middle-class jobs all their lives, basically. Middle to upper-class jobs to make like between 6 and 7 figures. And that's cool. I get it. But I don't really see how that benefited anybody. Did it benefit them that their house is nice and clean and big? Did it benefit this guy? I don't think so. Did it benefit the people around them? No. And so the way you guys run the world is every bit of fraud.
Kid who was weird, had few friends, but they were quality friends.
I heard a good one yesterday. It was super good. It was like, what was it? It was like, the Native Americans have a saying that was like, a child who is given no warmth by his community will burn down the village seeking warmth. That's not the direct quote, but it's close to it. It's like, a child who is not raised by a village will burn down the village seeking any warmth at all. This is an old African fucking colloquialism. African as in black. A child raised by a village, you know. This is so weird watching him trip. It's so weird.
I really butted heads with teachers a lot. Didn't usually have too many problems with students, but teachers got into a lot of fight with teachers. A lot of petty stuff. I think I've had some racist teachers.
Really?
Because they seem to have like picked on me specifically.
Okay.
There was one teacher in grade 4, I think her name was Miss. She literally looked like that teacher from South Park, the fat ugly chick that replaced
Jokes on Dick.
Mr. Garrison.
Yeah, okay.
She would kind of single me out in class. Like if anybody was talking, like if it would always be me.
He's laughing, but he's not.
That guy.
Yeah.
Like,
But now notice, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you how this looks from the outside. Here sits this dude who's super fucked up that they switched up his teachers when he was in the 2nd grade, and he's fixated on it, and he's using it as some kind of excuse, some kind of weird correlation to a South Park joke.
Shut up. And there's this kid named David in the class, white kid. He would tease me and stuff, and he tried to bully me, but he was like way smaller. He would just try to bully me, but because he was smaller, he had to do like stupid, like steal stuff from me, like steal my pencil case. He would lie to the teacher and say that it was like his stuff that he was stealing, and then the teacher would always side with him. Yeah, I almost killed him.
The catalyst for this incident can be traced back to an
I almost killed him, is how he ended that conversation. Did you hear it? I almost killed him. Did you hear it?
Always side with him. Yeah, I almost killed him.
I almost killed him was how he ended that conversation. And I'm sorry, but we're meant to just sort of ignore this and forget that he said it. But the way that he said it came across as extremely sociopathic to me. Listen how it comes across when he says it again.
Stuff that he was stealing, and then the teacher would always side with him. Yeah, I almost killed him.
The catalyst.
I almost killed him. And I'm sorry, but the teacher might sound fucked up and your friend might sound fucked up, but I almost killed him sounds a lot more fucked up to me. A lot more.
For this incident can be traced back to an ordinary school day in the 4th grade. At his school, a buddy system was in place, a practice designed to ensure the safety of students during various tasks. It was on this way that Richard was assigned an unexpected partner, none other than his tormentor, David. Their mission was to retrieve files from the principal's office. Together, they ventured out of the classroom and ascended a staircase within the school building, a towering 4-story structure. As they neared a railing, tension hung heavily in the air, a palpable undercurrent of animosity that had been building for far too long. In a shocking turn of events, Richard's pent-up anger erupted, so he grabbed David and basically hung him over the railing while he pled for his life. Thankfully, Richard's better judgment prevailed and he decided not to let him go. The realization that he could face serious consequences or even imprisonment brought him back to his senses. With a sudden release...
You mean the fact that he almost murdered some dude is getting played down by the same rightists who like his work.
He let go of David, allowing him to escape from the brink of tragedy. Remarkably, David chose to keep this traumatic incident to himself, a silence that probably came out of fear and a deep-seated apprehension of Richard. So,
or perhaps an attempted murder?
Someone really fucks with you. Like, you do get genuinely, like, homicidal rage, potentially.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
I think I had a lot less control over my anger when I was a kid, so... Yeah, when I was like really young, and again, your frontal lobe isn't like developed when you're that age, so I could really...
My frontal lobe was developed that age.
Easily just go off on people.
And this wasn't even the only incident like this. In another instance, Richard almost him again. The backdrop for this particular encounter was supposedly a school project about Native Americans, a topic that piqued Richard's curiosity at the age of 6. His fascination with archery, an art he had recently begun to explore, became a pivotal factor in this unfolding drama. When this event actually occurred, he was 9 years old. In a decision that would prove to be very ill-fated, Richard decided to bring his bow and arrow to school for the Native American project. Little did he know that this prop would become a symbol of his escalating anger and frustration. It was during a moment of pure rage that he drew back an arrow, taking careful aim at David. His desire, as he admitted to me, was for David to see his death coming. This marked a second occasion during which Richard had threatened David's life. However, as before, legal consequences loomed large in his mind. The realization that he could face incarceration and the profound moral implications of taking a life led...
You are reading into what is a minor squabble pretty deep, like you've been kind of like pondering the Bible for a while and you need some story to tell the public or something.
Him to relent once more, sparing David.
Because you're just filling in the blanks so much here that if there was an objection in court, it would be sustained and you would be stopped
From the brink of disaster. The aftermath of this incident left David undoubtedly shaken, perhaps nursing...
Undoubtedly shaken, which means that you're in the realms of fiction and you're making this up as you go.
Only a profound fear of his fellow classmate, but also a metaphorical fear of shitting his pants.
I did archery since I was like pretty young, like probably around like maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, something like that. And
I can't think of a kid who didn't do that.
There was like this class project thing with Native Americans and pilgrims and shit. And this is pre 9/11, so things were more lax, you know. So I brought the bow and arrow as part of my like Native American character, and I had actual arrows. So I just knocked an arrow. I was gonna just shoot him because, like, again, I don't like him. I wanted him to see his death coming. So he
why is this funny to you? And I'm going to bail out now. Sorry. I'm sorry. This is not funny. It wasn't funny. And I think it's weird that you laughed. Just odd, you know? I'm sorry, but I'm going to be honest. It's just weird that you laugh like that. It's weird. It's like a weird Reddit 4chan laugh.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Wolfside channel. Today we have a very special topic. Always special. Henrik showed the roadmap point, so I summarized the whole thing because cutting this would take too much time. I could explain in a few sentences. First off, Henrik's statement.
We've been spending a lot of focus on performance as one of the big things. As you all now know, Unreal Engine 5, this will be a very huge milestone, being the world first MMORPG on this technology, Unreal Engine 5. And you know, Unreal 5 comes with a huge update, especially when it comes to how to illuminate the game world, making it much more realistic and beautiful. And along with that, usually comes some requirements on hardware, which means, you know, obviously it comes at a small baseline increased cost of various things when it comes to utilizing this technology. So we worked very hard to make sure that client performance is as good as possible. And you guys helped us out with a battle test. What was it, 2 patches ago, right? The first battle, we identified stalls, CPU stalls, where people froze during middle combat. If you remember what I'm talking about, if you were here in that test, which obviously raised some concerns when it comes to battle experience, right? So we put all hands on identifying that. So we had a debug client. So with your help, we identified those bottlenecks and different things causing the stalls. And the patch we went on PTR yesterday had those fixes in it, and you guys were very helpful again to pretty much confirm our possible fixes, and it seems like you got the same confirmation result as we did, which means very smooth experience in mid-combat as well.
So just to make it short, this is just the list of things we can all vote on, and the votes will come later, Henrik said, but it's not sure if it's in-game votes, if you have to log in to actually vote, or if it's a forum vote or something like that. Maybe even a vote on the website with a verified account that you have actually bought the game in order to be able to vote. That would be awesome. So, by the way, the main features here. The wagon system for transporting a lot of shit, also transporting people, building caravans and stuff, fighting from a wagon, not sure. The veteran system will give you more skill points, not attribute points, skill points, in action or profession skills. This comes after you reached Clade level 20, and then you can gather veteran points. The dimension run, this is basically very interesting. It's dark and darker. Just you can place a portal, for example, in your city, in your territorial control city, and you can sign up there for a fight. Then you can go through the portal, and you are in another dimension, which is
very good.
The Mortal Arena mode. I just call it the Mortal Arena mode because it's basically the gameplay of Dark and Darker. 2 teams, each 5 players go in there. Slaughtering each other, 1 team goes out or 1 player goes out and wins. Then the Diva system, this is the second character slot. So this is basically the characters sharing the same reputation, but you can log in 2 different characters. Not at the same time, of course. The Thievery system, that you can steal something from other people's inventories. I also made a dedicated video for that. Not a lot of people found that very useful, that system. At least in Mortal Online 1, the majority of people said it was shit. Then the Tindrum Arena with a ladder ranking system. A lot of people asked for that. And yeah, we had that in Mortal Online 1 and it was pretty bad. But this was not because the mechanic itself, the idea itself was bad, but the execution was just very bad. So you can sign up for fights, for example, you can sign up versus a PvE group, you can sign up versus another group, and you have some very interesting fights there. Farming, this was also Mortal Online 1, yeah, you could gather crops and, for example, grow your own salvia or seedew or whatever the stuff you need, wherever you want, but it was dedicated to territory.
Do not ever grow your own salvia.
Control, so you actually had to have a guild and stuff to do this farming. Maybe with
I've done it. Do not grow your own salvia datorum. Don't do it. Stay away from salvia datorum.
Houses, this will change, but he was not sure. Then the breeding system, this is very awesome that you can breed your own mounts. And Henrik, the bull horses are still missing in the game. There you can breed the different mounts together or
brain damage. Fries your brain.
Different animals together and getting different results. Also, each animal has its own stats, its own dexterity, its own strength and stuff, and this is was pretty unique. And also the colors of the skin and whatever the stuff was also completely unique, and you could actually breed horses that look like zebras or something like that, and it was very rare and very expensive. Then the dye system, that you could dye your armor and all the stuff you can wear. Some colors were pretty expensive to make. For example, Mortal Kombat 1, the most expensive color was blue. Guild logo and emblem system. This is what a lot of people asked for, but Henrik mentioned that we might not be able to upload our own logos, so we have to choose from predefined stuff, and I really hate the idea. I just hate the idea. If you have predefined logo shit, no, just fucking no. I want the own logo.
Happy Thanksgiving,
thank you, Wolfsight, for the excellent content for my excellent content for my stream. I'd like to sub to your channel. Thank you, Penguin Zero, for the excellent content for my stream. I'd like to sub to your channel. Today is Thanksgiving Day, so I won't be playing too many games today. I'll be playing games, but it's not my main focus today, even though I did win like 5 Overwatch matches today or something like that. Today is as close as I get to a day off. So I'm drinking beer. I'm watching videos with you wonderful people. Don't care what you think, but I hope that you're enjoying yourself. And here we go. You know what I'm saying?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you...
Oh, it's a straight-eared... American, I think is what it's called. American. They're called Americans. I'm sorry, American short hair. See, it's an American short hair. He's got an American short hair. See it? I'm sorry, I was talking about the cat. But it is an American short hair. I mean, this is a bad example of it, but that's the biological breed. I nailed it. He's got an American short hair. They're actually not that common. They're common, but they're not. like that common.
Your family have a wonderful...
They're beautiful. Look at the calico. It's a nice calico American short hair. American short hairs are domestic cat believed to be descended from European cats and all that. And they're it's a popular breed, but you don't see them that often though because they stand out. Often they have beautiful calico colors like that.
Time of festivities.
Yeah, like see it, beautiful.
Food and whatever else you may do to celebrate today.
I celebrate my family and my friends and the people in my channel right now. I love you guys. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? You're the closest I have to humanity, a force of people who have left me behind.
My Thanksgiving festivities the way our forefathers intended, by reading through an unbelievably
number 2.
long list of accusations and allegations against a YouTuber named Dream. Massive YouTuber. I'm sure you're familiar with the channel.
Nope, I'm not, but I remember the name. So we'll go back and we'll take a look at Dream. Dream's getting canceled, I guess. Dream, huh? Yeah, let's look at Dream. He's got 31.8 million. He's looking like a Minecraft producer, Minecraft content creator. Let's look at his videos. He's got 3.4 millions. 3.4 million hits on this 28-minute. Thank you, Dream, for the excellent content for my stream. I've liked and subbed to your channel.
Did you see the chicken above my head?
Yes.
Chimkin.
Is to kill Chimkin. Okay?
Okay. All right.
No, not yet. Look, if you can kill Chimkin before I can kill the Ender Dragon, then you win. So my goal is to protect the chicken, and your goal is to kill the chicken. If you kill the chicken, you win. If I kill the Ender Dragon, I win.
Okay, so it's manhunt, but I have to kill the chicken instead of you.
Pretty much, yes. I'm running.
Okay.
And guys, remember, make sure to subscribe. Oh, what? I just tried to shoot him.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. It's worthy.
Wait, what? No!
It's silly and you have too much time on your hands and it's not that interesting to me in a 17-year-old game. But hey, I'm playing WoW Classic Hardcore. I'm not one to talk.
Guys, there's only a small percentage of you are subscribed. Please click subscribe. Oh my god, you guys, I get so many good hits. I forgot to mention.
This guy's very good.
By the way,
it bothers me how good he is.
The chicken's already lost 5 hearts.
That is bad.
I'm coming, Dream.
Oh god.
Oh, my parkour is so bad. No!
Okay, so I believe that's the 30-second view we need of what he's doing right now. What the dog doing, right? He's like chilling. He's doing the Minecraft life.
This is weird. Hello. Hi. I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I feel like I was waiting to figure out how to do it, and I was like, I'll just wing it. And then now I'm sitting here like, all right, well, what do I do? Do I just like rip the band-aid off and turn around? Okay. Obviously, I can't just turn around. I don't know what to do. What do I do? Look, it's Dream. I don't know what to do.
Pat just took my chair. Guys, that's it. No face reveal.
Guys, this is a Guinness World Record. Look, I'm a Guinness World Record.
There we go. So you see it. He's like a Mr. Beast-esque Minecraft streamer.
I don't know how he's celebrating Thanksgiving, but I'll tell you one thing I know he's not thankful for, and it's Twitter. There are at least 100,000...
This video is 5 hours old.
...in different threads attempting to chronicle every single allegation.
Thank you, Dream, for the excellent content for my stream. I've liked and subbed to your channel. Thank you, Penguin Zero. I've liked and subbed to your channel.
Like, the supposed evidence to support all the claims. And this morning, I decided to, like, finally just take the plunge, fucking cannonball into this cesspool and figure out what exactly he's even being accused of, what the evidence is, trying to make heads or tails of this wild web of things. And Jiminy Christmas, I'll just tell you, sports fans, I'm more confused than a caveman seeing fire for the first time. I've read through so much shit, And then I'll go to another thread, and then it contradicts all the shit I just read, and then there's another thread about debunking all of this shit. I understand what's happening here, but then from out of nowhere, a new challenger enters WrestleMania coming from the top turnbuckle and blasts the whole thing wide open by making some crazy claims about, like, actually the debunking was false, this is a fake account, or, ooh, the initial account that started posting these claims turns out to be completely fake, and here's proof of them admitting that it was all a ruse. And then apparently it's become a very common pastime for people to just make brand new fake accounts and start putting in a bunch of wild allegations on top of all of this to keep muddying the waters. It is so messy. The allegations include grooming, Dream being a pedophile, sending moaning videos through Snapchat to minors. There's a ton of claims, a ton of different things from a ton of different places. And throughout trying to follow all of it as well as the evidence, everything just keeps getting...
I do not relish the destruction of somebody else's career, especially if they have spent years doing it. And this is very difficult to say in this particular fucking arena. But I do not wish destruction upon any of the people who try to do this.
Flipped around, and it's been extremely...
It's not fun. Like, I think a lot of the drama lately has been like cancel. I don't agree.
Figure out what you can trust and what you can't. A lot of the claims do seem very believable, and some of the evidence seems credible, but none of it's like 100% concrete proof of anything. I truly believe Dream is a narcissist. I think most people believe
I think
that.
you're a
and
narcissist.
I think Dream knows his audience mainly skews towards kids. Dream's audience has always been on the younger side of things, and yet Dream constantly engages with them in very inappropriate ways, such as like posting thirst traps, some of the things he says, like all of that very public and very well documented. I think all of it's very creepy, and I've said that quite a bit in the past. So I think with his history of doing things like that, it makes a lot of the claims have a lot more weight to them because they're much more believable, knowing that Dream publicly does encourage his fans to be parasocial. He does post thirst traps, even knowing that his fans are children, which I personally...
I don't know what a thirst trap is, but let's go find out what the fuck that is. These weird aliens and their fucking secondary language that's never been spoken by the fucking English or like whatever the fucking humans on the planet before. Thirst trap. Urban Dictionary, I guess. The fuck is a thirst trap, man? Sexy photograph or flirty message posted on social media. Okay, I'm sorry I didn't come up with that vacuous shit.
Personally believe is a creepy thing to do with the audience he has.
Yeah.
So when these claims come out, I think a lot of people start to take them at face value because they're like, oh, that sounds like the Dream that I know. You know, this sounds like something Dream might do, so it's probably true. Even though right now a lot of the evidence backing it up isn't the strongest. Even like there is evidence,
like
sure,
this streamer's power relies in the fact that nobody knows who he is.
It's nothing that 100% condemns him or 100% shows that the claims being made are accurate. Let me give you an example of one that blew up a couple days ago during the whole Dream did what Twitter trend. So Dream was accused of sending moaning videos through Snapchat to minors. And here's the evidence for that.
I'll tease the shit out of you, kiss your neck, run my hands up your body. You look so sexy right now. I don't need this.
There's nothing in those videos that has his face or anything. It's just the sound of someone moaning that resembles Dream's voice. To me, it sounds more like a Shane Dawson moan. I don't listen to a lot of Dream, but when I heard that, I thought for sure this was leaked audio of Shane Dawson when he did that degenerate shit with his cat. These videos just aren't definitive proof of anything. It's a black screen with the sound of somebody moaning. Now that's not to say that this can't be real. It could be Dream. I have no way of knowing for sure one way or the other. It's just right now with what is presented, it's not enough to convince me beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is Dream here. Anyone could be moaning there and just say, look, it's Dream, listen, it's definitely him. But it's just a complete random person doing it. If they really wanted to get wacky with it, they could have grabbed the audio from that classic meme where the guy passes a kidney stone while coming and is like screaming while orgasming. Like that, and then just say, it's Dream, look, and it was sent to a minor. Even though, again, there's also no proof of it being sent to a minor, at least nothing that I can find here for that. So the only proof here is the name, Dream, it's clearly his Snapchat, it must be. And listen to him moan and look at what he said. And then it's just some like really fucking cringe text that seems like it's straight out of the worst written erotica fanfic ever. I'd kiss your neck and tease the shit out of you, run my hand up your body. Your tits are so nice, what the fuck, I just want to fill you up, princess. Oh god. Sickening, vomit-inducing trash there. But I just don't see anything here that proves that this is Dream that sent it, A, and Dream that sent it to a minor, B. Like, and I also don't, just on a side note, I don't think anyone's ever been...
I don't care about this anymore. Thank you, Some Ordinary Gamers, for the excellent content for my stream. I've liked and subbed to your channel.
Something illegal, ladies and gentlemen. Usually I like to start the videos off with a little Hindi. You know, somebody clicks on my videos, they're like, oh, this guy titled it in English, and then they just left me hanging. But ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far enough without clicking off already, then congratulations, we are discussing massive cell phone cases. I don't like to jump into a lot of these controversial situations out of no reason, but this is standing out to me because this is something that should never have happened, okay? And this is a pretty massive allegation. Obviously, copyright infringement, stealing somebody's designs is pretty stupid these days, okay? Because it takes somebody 10 seconds, okay, to Google search, especially with how Reddit exists. You could literally plagiarize something, and within 30 seconds, some Redditor will find out the exact design copied somewhere else, and a controversy will start when it shouldn't have. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Casetify. Now, Casetify produces, as you can imagine, phone cases. And they're not cheap either. For instance, this iPhone 15 case with like the king snakes or whatever, $110 US. That's your best deal? Okay. Okay. I'm going to stick to Amazon. The Fallout 4.
No, this is old. A lot of this is really cyclical and boring to me.
Нет, слышишь, нет.
Bottle kids.
Garda Síochána continue to investigate all of the circumstances of a serious assault which occurred on Parnell Square East shortly after 1:30 p.m. this afternoon, Thursday the 20th of November 2023. Preliminary indications are that a male attacked a number of people on Parnell Square East. 5 casualties have been taken to hospitals in the Dublin region. These casualties include 3 young children, an adult female and an adult male. 1 girl aged 5 years has sustained serious injuries and is currently receiving emergency medical treatment in CHI Temple Street. 1 boy aged 5 years and a girl aged 6 years who received less serious injuries were brought to CHI Crumlin for treatment. The boy has since been discharged from CHI Crumlin. Garda Síochána is providing
Ah. Flip it. Do it. Yep. Yeah, those kids are pissed. I wouldn't really fuck with them. They'll flip your car. They've got the muscular power to do it. Ever try to flip a car without like a device or something? At least someone will stand. At least someone will stand. It's worse when no one will stand. You know? Somebody at least stood.
Yup, the foot locker.
I wish it didn't have to be this way. God damn it.
Stephen, you're right in the centre of it all. What's been happening?
Well, a major policing operation is now underway in the Irish capital this evening in an attempt to wrest back control of the main thoroughfare, O'Connell Street, which is, if I just step out of the shot, at the end of this police cordon is O'Connell Street, is effectively the main street through Dublin city centre. On the left there is the primary school where that horrific attack took place earlier this lunchtime. As you mentioned, 3 young children, primary school children, attacked. 1 5-year-old girl receiving emergency treatment in hospital in a very serious condition, we are led to believe. A man, a person of interest, as the Gardaí, the Irish police,
Why children?
described him, is currently receiving hospital treatment as well. And from a very early stage this afternoon, there was much speculation on social media as to his nationality, which we cannot confirm at this stage. However, that was amplified by certain campaigners, and it has led to the scenes that we have seen later in the afternoon and right through into this evening, where Gardaí, the Irish police, have come under direct attack. I saw gangs of youths looting shops here on O'Connell Street and taking aim at the public order unit,